Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
What is happening, everybody? I'm Larry Roberts.
And I'm Sara, and this is Branded, your comprehensive guide to creative branding.
And on this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about our adventures this past week. Well, at a variety of different stops. We were on the PodTour with the PodFest crew, made several stops throughout the Texas tour, made a stop in every major Texas city there. And then we rounded out our adventures in Houston, Texas, at the Spark Media Conference. So we're going to be kind of sharing with you some of the lessons that we learned and some of the things that we saw in action there at the conference.
Larry learned a lot at this conference.
Man, we get right to it, don't we? We just jump right in.
He learned a lot.
Right into my nightmare.
He learned so much. Well, what'd you learn, Larry? Tell everybody. Tell the class what you learned.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I learned was that while you as an individual may not necessarily think that an idea resonates because it doesn't necessarily resonate with you, there's still an opportunity for it to resonate with others. And I know that's a very vague statement, so let me clarify. Sara had come to me weeks prior to this and proposed the idea of having a bracelet station at our booth because we were sponsors of the Spark Ignite 2023 conference. And we had a booth there talking about branded and some of the things we do for our clients. And, you know, our idea was to maybe land a client or two ourselves. And when she proposed this bracelet making station idea, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. So just because it's not going to resonate with me, you know, I didn't necessarily have much of an interest, really any interest at all, in stringing little beads onto monofilament line to create a bracelet. But apparently it's all the rage.
Everybody else wanted it. It was insane how popular this idea was. I had brought 2 chairs from home and we still were stealing chairs from other booths so enough people could sit down because everyone wanted to make their bracelet. I don't know if there's a limit to how many times I can say I told you so.
Well, I'm hoping we reach that soon because it's been a long week.
I'm not seeing the horizon yet.
Oh, awesome.
I'm still feeling right.
Okay, so going beyond the fact that you were right in everybody enjoying this, what's the real value in that? I mean, what was your thought process in not just, hey, we have an opportunity to make these bracelets and everybody's going to want to participate in that, but from a deeper perspective, where were you going with this?
I had like several different layers to this idea. And the first was our brand is branded. So we are all about building brands, but we're not about building our brands. We're about building the brands of the people who work with us. I could give you something with our brand on it, but that doesn't support our brand promise. Our brand promise is we want to highlight your brand and we want to grow your brand. So I came up with this idea to have people sit down at our table and put their own brand name on a beaded bracelet. And that makes it about them instead of about us. So that was the first part, but it's also, I go to conferences all the time and you do too, because we're all usually at the same ones. And you walk through these expo halls and it's just the same mass-produced, just garbage. Like,
yeah,
I hate to say it that way. Yeah, there's stress balls, there's pens, there's
Rice Krispie treats.
Okay, those aren't garbage. Those are fantastic.
They are delicious.
But the things that people just put their brand on for marketing purposes, they're all made by the same people. And they all end up in the trash. Like you take them because it's like, oh, look, a free thing, but you never use it. I've gotten a few things that were actually really cool. I mean, I've gotten little speakers, I've gotten headphones, like things that like that. But for the most part, you never look at these again. And you don't like, they don't make you think about the company that gave them to you.
Right.
Usually, I just kind of awkwardly stick my arm out, say, I'm just grabbing a free thing, and then run away before they can talk to me.
Well, it's funny because the booth next to us, the lady said that exact same thing. She had mints on her table, and granted, there were those delicious Lifesaver, those white Lifesaver mints that everybody loves. That if you suck on them long enough, they dissolve in your mouth, and it's just a fun and refreshing experience. But she even
Sponsored by Lifesaver.
right, Lifesaver. If you're listening, I'm a huge fan. But she even made that comment. She said that was part of the funnest part of the conference was watching people kind of give her the side eye as they walked by her table and just kind of slip their hand in the bowl and grab 2 or 3 of them and then keep on walking without making direct eye contact because they didn't want to have a conversation. They just wanted those delicious Lifesavers.
Yeah. And that was what I wanted to avoid. It's like all of these things on these tables, these people spent money on.
Yeah.
But they're not resonating. It's just like I have piles of this stuff around my house because I am a hoarder and I go to these events too much. But I couldn't tell you what names are on them. I will tell you my massage gun was from Prudential because they gave out massage guns and good on you.
I mean, that's a high dollar gift right there. That's some high dollar swag. Yeah.
Oh, finance conferences are where it's at for swag. But I like nothing really resonates. And with this, it was you had to sit down and have a conversation with me because you had no choice. If you want a bracelet, you need to sit down and make that bracelet one bead at a time. And the crowd there was a little on the older side. So they weren't very fast with getting these tiny beads on a tiny string. So a lot of them, they sat there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, some of them were there for a while.
Yeah, we got to have whole conversations about what is your show about? What's your brand about? What's your mission? Like, what is it that you're trying to get out of this conference? All of these different like questions that I could ask or that they were asking me and like taking time to get to know each other. That by the time they're done with their bracelet, they're like, so do you have a card? How can I stay in touch with you?
Yeah.
Because we took the time to get to know them.
Well, and that allowed us to have
those.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what allowed us to have some deeper conversations and make all of the connections that we made. And it was really surprising because a lot of times when you do just have the generic stuff on the table and you are just having these generic conversations, there's really not an opportunity to carry the conversation beyond that. As we sat there and I didn't do a whole lot of bead making or bracelet making.
You made one.
I'm not saying I didn't make any. I made one. Actually, I made, I think 2, but it took me 3 tries to make my first one because I kept dropping the beads. I was done. I was finished. I had all my beads on. And then I would drop it and the beads would fall off. So
Larry was one of the old people I was referring to.
My dexterity was not at the forefront of my bracelet making prowess. But the conversations that came from taking that much time, I mean, we got to know their children's name, their grandchildren's names. We got to know their backstory. We got to learn about their podcasts. We got to learn about their businesses. We got to learn about their goals. It was a Christian conference, so we got to learn about their struggles and overcoming certain challenges in life. I mean, they just shared their entire testimony with us. We got to know these people on a very, very in-depth level. And I mean, I've got a couple of appointments coming up this week because of some of the conversations that took place. And Sarah, I'm confident you made a couple as well. And I think even Branded as a whole, as our brand, I think we've got some appointments on the calendar for Branded as well. So the overall success of us being there and leveraging something like this that allows people to create together opens up a level of connectivity that I haven't seen at any other booth before.
There were a few things that were said from it that really like stuck with me. One woman, like she worked so hard on this bracelet and she was there for a while. She just really put so much thought into each bead that she put on this bracelet. And she's done and she looks up at me. She's like, this is the first time I've ever made something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is her first like handmade by her bracelet or
Yeah.
anything. She's like, I never thought I was creative. I never thought I could really make something. And she was just looking down at this bracelet that she made with so much pride. I'm like, I didn't think it would go that deep, but she was so proud of herself. It was
Yeah.
so cute. It was so sweet. I didn't tell her that some of the beads she chose were actually like hardware. It was like clamps to keep knots from loosening and stuff. Like they weren't actually beads. I didn't tell her that.
Don't rain on her parade, man. She's
No,
loving
no, no.
life.
I didn't. I let her go. I let her go. I mean, I wasn't going to the sessions. I wanted to stay by the booth. So I had a lot of downtime. So I just started making bracelets for the different vendors there with their names and their colors. And there's a woman at the table next to us, the opposite side of the mints table. And I had put a movie that she starred in and her husband directed. I put the name of it on a bracelet. And when she comes out from whatever she was doing, I sounded like a 12-year-old and was like, hey, I made you a friendship bracelet.
Yeah.
But
What was the thing you kept saying that was just, it had me rolling. I can't figure out. I can't figure out how to walk up to another
a
adult.
grown adult and say I made you a friendship bracelet without sounding like a fetus.
There you go. Yeah, the fetus part. That's what just made it next.
And it didn't help that I was the youngest person there.
And the smallest, and yeah, you really fit the whole picture that you were painting as you approached them with this bracelet. It was hilarious.
I felt like a fetus, and all of them were just like, you remind me of my granddaughter. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Do you give her money? Give me some. But the woman next to me, I put her movie title on her bracelet, and I go and I give it to her. And I had actually put it on her table, but she was there for a few minutes, and I realized that she hadn't noticed it.
Okay.
So I just like pop over. I was like, hey, by the way, I made you this friendship bracelet. I just wanted to just make sure you got it. And she just looks down at it, and she takes it out of I put in a little baggie, and she reads it, and she just looks up at me. She's like, this is so meaningful. I don't have anything with the name of the movie on it. This is my first piece of merchandise from this movie I starred in. And she puts it on and she's just staring at it and she's just so excited. And that's how so many people reacted, because this wasn't self-promotion. This was just kindness and generosity. And just, I took the time to make this for you. I had bought 80 little microphone little like pendants or charms. Yeah, charms is the word. Good on you.
Good. I'm getting in touch with my feminine side here.
You are a future jewelry maker. I had bought like 80 of them thinking they could go on the bracelets, but they were too big. It wouldn't have gone with the look of the bracelet. So instead, I have an Etsy store. I make earrings and stuff all the time. So I just made them into earrings. And I put them with a business card in little like sealed up little baggies and put them in gift bags. And I left them on the table for people to take. And when I would say like, oh, don't forget, there's like handmade earrings here. And people would just look at me like, did you say handmade?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nothing there has personal touches.
Right. Everything is so manufactured and
so
cranked out.
mass-produced.
Hey, come to my table. Here's my brand. Look at this. It's the same stuff over and over and over. And it was just so amazing to see the look on these people's face when they realized that it was handmade, that you had put some heart and soul and energy and thought
and that it was free.
Well, yeah, and that was coming next. And the fact that because they would look at the earrings like, oh my gosh, these are so cute.
Yeah, how much?
They were waiting for us to peg them with a $19.99 price tag.
Yeah, they're all like, how much is it? Or what do I have to do to get the earrings? As like thinking like they have to sign up for something or hire us. Or I mean, we did have a QR code to sign up for a giveaway we were doing, but you didn't need to do it.
It wasn't a requirement. Yeah.
No. So like someone looks at me and says, what do I have to do to get the earrings? And I just looked at, I'm like, pick them up and walk away.
Maybe say thank you. A little thank you.
I would appreciate that. Yes. Thank you. You're very welcome. But they were so shocked that it was because most of these, it's like you order 100 of them, it costs you $20, and it's just this little thing, you don't think twice about it. You just want them gone so you don't have to bring them home.
Yeah. But please take these so I don't have to pack them back up. Yeah.
Exactly. But this was something that like I spent hours making by hand, and I was hoping that it would stick with them a little bit more than something that I could have just bought. And I did not expect the level of gratitude that they showed. Like they were so excited about it.
Well, and the connection too, and that's what's so. I want to drive that point home here for the
Yeah.
listeners. Is we're not just sitting here bragging about how great Sarah is and how this was a great
thought we
idea
were.
and how Larry was wrong, and we're
That's
talking
what I'm
about
doing.
this because I that from that side of the aisle, that's where we're going, but from this side of the aisle, I want to drive home the fact that this generated so much relationship credibility and relationship value with everybody there, because even after they made their bracelets, they remembered making the bracelet, and we couldn't pass them in the hallway without them smiling and raising their wrist and showing. And I should have been wearing my bracelets for this episode for the video, but
I am.
good job. I left mine in the other room. So,
If
but
you say
anyway,
the trash.
it's not the try. I can go get it right now. I promise. I love
Okay.
them. But my point there is everybody loved them, and we could not walk by these people after they made their bracelets without getting a massive smile and just a massive return on that emotional investment there. And I can assure you that going forward, when they're thinking about starting a podcast or growing their podcast or establishing their brand and growing their brand, what are they going to think of? Are they going to think of that squishy ball they got at the table 3 doors down? Or are they going to think about spending 10, 15 minutes with Sarah and sometimes myself as well, and having those conversations and establishing that real relationship?
Yeah, I've already had people like comment on things on Facebook with, I'm wearing my bracelet. I love it so much. It was great to spend time with you. And that was the thing. It was great to spend time with you.
Right.
It wasn't like great to see you at the conference or like it was great to meet you. It was like they spent time with us. And that was what was so important. So I mean, going back to like the value of this conversation, if you're doing something like this, you're doing an event and you have a table, take those extra few minutes to really think about what impact you want to have. What is the promise of your brand and how can you communicate that through something, whether it's a giveaway or a conversation or a sign, whatever it is. And this doesn't have to be expensive. I spent $100 on beads and string and I overbought. I have plenty left over. I'm going to be making bracelets for months and I'm not complaining. But it doesn't have to be expensive. I probably spent less than some of the people that had a table full of like branded pens and stuff.
Guaranteed. Yes.
But when people were asking like, oh, wow, like what made you think to do this? Or like, what are we doing here? What do I put on my bracelet? I got to say like, well, our brand is all about building other brands. So take this time to make something for yourself. Put your own brand on it. Put your own podcast name on it. And they just looked at me confused because they're like, wait, this is about me? Because everything is you get to the table and it's about the person that paid for the table.
Right.
So how can you go a step further? How can you put in a little bit more thought to make it an experience and make it something meaningful? Because there aren't any rules. They don't tell you like, okay, make sure you get your squish balls if you're going to sponsor our event. Like they don't tell you anything. It's just the norm. So that's what people just kind of gravitate towards. They just Google cheap marketing stuff. And put their logo on it. They order a box of it, have it shipped to the conference. You don't have to do it that way.
No, and I mean, I think it would be wrong of us not to give a shout out to Joe from Mopod, and he's one of our previous episodes. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, go back and check that episode out because, I mean, Joe and what's it, Mike? Joe and Mike from Mopod. I mean, they are super creative with their booths at every conference that they're at getting their brand name out there and getting people to recognize and appreciate and really build some relationship investment there with their brand. And I think we learned a little bit of something personally, at least I know I did, from having them on the show as well. And it was so cool because, I mean, if you recall, Joe was talking about at one conference, he bought a toilet to have people come in and sit on and have conversations.
Oh, not only did they sit on the toilet, he served the drinks out of the tank.
They filled it with ice and
into a cooler. It was genius.
It was genius. And then you acted on that after that conversation. And I mean, you brought personal chairs from your home. You've got a little nook there that has 2 chairs and a table. And you brought those 2 chairs, which just happen to be pink and match all of our branding colors, and sat them there at the table. And that gave people a place to sit comfortably and make these bracelets. Now, did it feel a little dorky pushing those chairs through the hallway of the hotel? Sure, it did. Felt a little odd, but guess what? The payoff was something that you can't really get back with. It's worth every minute of it.
It's funny because I also bought an area rug, but the color was a little off. It didn't match as well as I thought it would. So I put it under the table. I didn't use it, but there would have been an area rug. And I love that you brought up the Joe episode because that's the first episode that I announced this idea. And I'm pretty sure you edited it out because you were so embarrassed of it. I don't think it made the episode. Because I had said on the episode, like, we're going to do this. And I'm so excited. We're making bracelets. And I just see your face. And I don't think it made the final cut.
I don't recall, but I'm going to have to re-listen to it. That is hilarious. So anybody that's listening to this episode, if I did cut it out and you know it's not in there, drop us a comment below and let us know, man. So.
Let us know. I know we made a reel announcing because we had given a ticket away. We gave a ticket to this. We had an extra one and we wanted to bring someone from our community with us to this event and give them that opportunity. So we did a giveaway and the ticket was won by a friend of ours named Maquenda.
Yeah.
And we made a reel to announce it. And it took us like 16 takes to make this reel because I kept saying, and there's going to be bracelets, and your face would drop. And you just said, yeah, just talk about your bracelets. And
bottom line, I hated the idea. I hated passionately.
If you go, I can tell you for a fact, if you go back to that reel, we don't mention bracelets. Because you had me so sad about like just almost giving up on my idea. And I'm like, maybe this is dumb. But I knew it wasn't because I'm always right.
Okay. And on that note, Sarah is right. And hopefully you got some value out of this. I know I got value out of this experiment, out of this experience. And it's something that I'll leverage moving forward. And I hope you can too. So if you did find some value in this episode, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button on your favorite podcast player. Or if you're over here on the YouTube, smash that one and subscribe and hit that bell button. So you'll get alerted each time we release a brand new episode of Branded.
And if you want a bracelet, let me know and I'll send you one.
We got you. Yes, do that. Let us know in the comments.
I have
below.
so many beads left.
There are hundreds of beads. Every letter. We've got plenty of every letter that's left.
Let me know. Tell me your colors. I got you.
So we got you on that one. With that, I'm Larry Roberts.
I'm Sara Lucy, and I was right.
And this is Brandon. We'll see you next week.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high-fiver? I kind of like the high-five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.